Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We're doing a special MITech TV show today. A good friend of mine I've known for, I don't know, how long have I known you, Steve? A long time, I guess, right?
Oh,
So,
it's been over a decade.
yeah, so Steve Bratic, he's a man of many hats, and his current hat, or at least the one he's been working on for the past couple of years, is a mobile charging station that could be used just about by anybody, right? It could be used by restaurants, it could be used by ports, it could be used by you name it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've done a lot of great things over the years. Starting off with Braddock Enterprise, where I started 23 years ago. That was just getting into the lighting industry, and that kind of progressed into power generation. And now, we're more recently, about 3 years ago, started EV charging pod, and that's where we got into the EV charging station development. But then that's the mobile charging unit's been, quite an interesting development as well because, yeah, it's basically roadside assistance and, ways to be able to help people either schedule and or help them if they're on the side of the road stranded. And with that being said, that development has continued to progress. So under EV charging pod, the pod is actually Braddock. So it's basically an on-grid and off-grid EV charging solution, which includes the mobile solution. But even more recently, after that, I've worked with Monica Alexander and David Grigsby, as well as former Senator Mike MacDonald, in developing DSM Energy Solutions, where we're going to be bringing manufacturing to Michigan, manufacturing of EV chargers, manufacturing of battery energy storage systems, which is utility grade, and then also looking at developing workforce development solutions to be able to help in the progression of job creation by having the youth and or veterans as a focal point um, to teach them to be able to install and maintenance the equipment that we're going to be manufacturing. So
Yeah, and for those that don't know, I mean, if you don't have an EV car or truck or whatever, a lot of the times I hear complaints that they pull up to the charging station and it's not working, malfunctioning, or worse yet, some idiot has cut the cable so he can steal the copper. So there's no guarantees out there, and I know the governor Whitmer wants to have 1 million EVs running in Michigan, within this decade. A bigger problem is we don't have the infrastructure to support that because one of our clients, as you can see, is ITC, which does the big transmission lines, and they're having a heck of a time just keeping up with normal electricity consumption, which is rising rapidly. Everybody has multiple devices, phones, computers, you name it, and it sucks up a lot of electricity. So, yeah, it's a real challenge, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's the chicken or the egg, right? If you don't, people aren't buying electric vehicles because there aren't enough chargers, working chargers or chargers in general. And then as it continues, people aren't putting chargers in place because there's not enough power. So, it's which one are you going to start first? So that's what we're trying to do is we're offering all the options with all the different solutions, uh, from design and engineering all the way to installation. But now we're getting to the level with DSM is where we're going to be able to, have a tremendous amount of job creation relative to helping people, be able to have good paying jobs, training them as well to be able to maintenance and install this, and then of course the manufacturing of this product. We want to make sure that people are going to be able to have a reasonable financial position to be able to not struggle and have good paying jobs for the future.
No, you have your team assembled. The viewers can't see the dashboard. I can. Why don't you introduce your team members?
All right, so let me start off with David Grigsby. David he came from TGG Global Consulting, and he is one of my partners at DSM. Monica Alexander, she is with Veteran EV Charging, and she is it's interesting. DSM stands for David, Steven, Monica. So it's the three of us. And then former Senator Mike MacDonald has been instrumental in getting us in front of the right stakeholders, the utilities, the state of Michigan, so that people at those levels all understand what we're trying to do and how we're moving forward.
If any of you guys would like to speak, feel free to do so. Throw in what you're doing, amplify what Steve said.
David, you want to start?
Yeah, first of all, it's a pleasure, Mike. Thank you for the invitation. Stephen, also thank you for facilitating that. I would add that what I'm bringing to DSM in the state of Michigan is about 40, 45 years of global investment, professionalism, and expertise, having worked pretty much around the globe, most notably in Saudi Arabia and Middle East, some other places. I've run a couple of companies, domestic and international, and we've had an opportunity to work with the legislature in Michigan over the last several years, which has culminated in a very strong relationship with, as Stephen so aptly pointed out, former three-term Senator Mike MacDonald. And so we're pretty excited about the capabilities that we have to not to be repetitive with regard to Stephen's comments, but we're pretty excited about being able to galvanize these various areas of expertise and bring this so that the recipients of the state of Michigan benefit to maximum or optimum capability.
All right. Anybody else like to say a few words? Monica or Michael?
I am Monica Alexander. I am the founder of Veteran EV Charging, and I am prior service military, 15 years plus on active duty, and workforce development is a passion of mine. And one of the things that was missing with this whole thing, as Stephen has said, with the lack of power on the grid, so that you can't get the EV chargers, is the lack of the workforce that is trained to be able to do the work as we come into this next era as a nation. Detroit native, and I am extremely excited about the opportunity to be able to bring the Motor City, as the governor calls now, Michigan, to the forefront.
Michael?
Yeah, well, thank you, Mike, for having me on. So I was an early adopter of this back when the Republicans controlled the legislature. Senator McMorrow had discussed, with the push for EVs, we didn't have an infrastructure for it, and she asked for my help. And for me, it's not about politics. It's about what's best for the state. The job opportunities, the innovation, the idea of branding Detroit, the new Silicon Valley, the technology center. These are things that appeal to me. Job creation, bringing people here, young people here to come and work. And if we're going to push EVs, the important thing is that there's an infrastructure to support that. And I want Michigan to lead that. And that's what I'm so grateful to have met David and Monica and Steven, because they are totally on the right track with this. This isn't a political issue. This is an opportunity for Michigan to be what it's always been, an innovator, a leader. We had the first freeway with the first mall. We are the auto capital of the world. So if we're going to do EVs, we better make sure we have an infrastructure that can support that. And I certainly hope that's the governor and the MEDC's top priority, because that's what DSM is helping to lead the way on.
And of course, 100 years ago, we were the Silicon Valley of America with the
Correct.
auto industry and all that entailed. Now, the auto industry, as Bill Gates likes to say, cars are just computers on four wheels. Boy, is that the case now, right, Steve?
Isn't that the truth? These cars are so smart. They're talking to the chargers. They're talking to the internet. They're communicating to our cell phones. It's a smart world, and the world is moving that way. We're talking about data centers and other scenarios as well.
Let's talk about your pending trip to China. I'm assuming that's still going on, right? You got to go over there because Trump wants to have tariffs on everything coming out of China, and you get a lot of stuff out of China, right?
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to be talking to the manufacturers and making sure that they understand that, we're going to have to make some strategic changes in their own manufacturing. They're going to have to look at, developing their own manufacturing either in the U.S. or in partnering countries, because, the tariffs that are going to be coming about, they're going to affect our ability to effectively have competitive pricing for the components, even the subcomponents as well. So if we can buy products without having a lesser type of tariff, it'll allow us to be more efficient and also bring that price point, to the end customer.
Well, then you would also encourage them to maybe take a look at doing a lot of manufacturing here in Michigan, I assume, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the subcomponent manufacturers, just like, I came from the automotive industry, so it's not any different than, talking to our suppliers about, putting your manufacturing facility next to our own, because this way we've got a nice line of sight relative to the raw materials and components and subcomponents.
And I know you've been having extensive talks with multiple elements in the state. How are those talks going?
Yeah, it's been really, really good. Mike MacDonald has got us in front of a phenomenal group of stakeholders, and relative to getting in front of DTE, getting in front of consumers, communicating with other stakeholders, the MPSC, and we've had a lot of great discussions just to let everybody know this is what we're doing, this is where we're excited about, and and these are our goals and expectations for the future. And Mike's been really instrumental in making sure that all these different groups see and hear what we're trying to say, so that in hopes that when it's time to execute and we're ready to move forward, that they're going to be there to support us.
And I understand you're also working on getting a grant or several grants. Let's talk about that.
Well, it depends on the grants, right? So when it comes to EV charging, there's the NEVI program. That's a federal grant, but it's run through the state of Michigan. So we're trying to work with customers to be able to find the right opportunities, the right location. Those grants are nice because it's 80% of the EV charger can get rebated to the end user, which is going to be the owner operator. And then that's also going to, allow for a faster type of incentive or payback analysis. But the nice part of it is we've talked to a couple of customers that were interested in doing some off-grid solutions using natural gas as well, and then that also opens up some doors because it's behind the meter, there's some potential for that to also be included in those grants. So that's a big part of your overall cost on a project would be just equipment at that point.
Any final thoughts from you or anybody on your team before we close this out?
Well, you know what? We've been working really hard at putting together all of this hard work between our entire team, all of the stakeholders that we've had discussions with, and now we're just in the fundraising stage now, and we're hoping that we can execute and be able to close some opportunities. And I'll let anybody else jump in to continue.
And anybody like to add something? Go ahead.
Nothing to really add, Mike, except again, we're really looking forward to moving ahead in Michigan. We think it's an opportunity for just great advancement across the board.
And Monica, thanks for your service, by the way. And I know this would be important to veterans because, as you say, they could be trained then to fix these various charging stations, the ones that are permanent, and also install them and that sort of thing. And so it would really provide a life-saving kind of wage for them as well, right?
Absolutely. And it reintroduces purpose. And since we're already trained to be nimble and quick and efficient and cost effective in work, it just makes sense. That is a ready-made, already prepared workforce. The one thing that we did not quickly mention is the fact that skilled trades has kind of a brain drain within it. So we are also reaching out to the K to 14 population. So introducing skilled trades into the elementary, middle, and high schools so they can get an opportunity to see what this skilled trades business is all about for those who decided that university or college is not particularly for them. So to create a workforce for the future going forward for the next 100 years.
Michael?
To springboard off what Monica said about skilled trades and workforce development, I was on the call one time with Texas legislative members because we were doing space opportunities in Michigan, and One of the senators there basically told me, he said, your state should never be losing out on business to any of the other states, especially ours. You guys have a manufacturing might in your state that none of the other states possess. They said what you lack in Michigan is your ability to market the opportunities you have properly and your ability to collaborate to see those to fruition. And with what DSM is doing right now, you're starting to do things in the Detroit area that are innovative, that are attractive. Should be our brand here. We have the manufacturing, we have the skilled trades. Everybody should want to be here. And I'm glad that we're doing these kind of things and providing these opportunities.
Yeah, as my friends at the Engineering Society of Detroit like to point out, we have more engineers per capita in Michigan than anywhere else in the country. And we almost have as many total engineers as they have in California with 4 times the population. So, I
Yep.
mean, yes, Michigan really is the manufacturing center and has been for over 100 years, right, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that's really important to that statement is we want to keep those people in Michigan. And we don't want to train them I mean, at the end of the day, people move into different lifestyles, different expectations, just in general, people will move out of state, for whatever reason. But if we can keep the people that we're training, and that's going to be huge because, we need that for our state.
Okay, and now that you got everybody all really interested, they want to find out more. Where do they go to find that out, Steve?
Well, we're still in the development for our website, but you can call me as a starting point at 248-842-1480, or that is my cell phone, or you can actually text me at that number, or you can reach me at Steven at dsmes.com.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, all of you today, and great story. We'll share it widely.